find you. We will extradite you. We will prosecute you, and we will bring you to justice. I stand here shoulder to shoulder with our law enforcement partners, and I'm humbled by their extraordinary work. For years, agents and prosecutors quietly built this case, piece by piece, fact by fact, not for glory, but for justice. For justice for the thousands of victims left in the wake of the Mayo's reign of terror. Because of their courage, we are here today. I commend each of them. I especially recognize my Assistant United States Attorneys, Andrea Goldberg and Monique Botero, for their relentless pursuit of justice. It's now my honor to introduce the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Texas, Justin Simmons.
Good afternoon. My name is Justin Simmons. I am the United States Attorney for the Western District of Texas. I want to thank you, General Bondi, for your support. Thank President Trump as well for his support in this case and many other cases like it that we will continue to bring. They provided the resources and, again, the support that was needed to make a day like today happen. Ismael Zambada Garcia, in partnership with El Chapo Guzman, led the Sinaloa cartel for decades. In so doing, they brought millions of kilos of drugs into the United States. In so doing, they also imprisoned millions of Americans within the gray walls of addiction, millions of their own countrymen within the gray walls of violence and fear. Now, he will spend the rest of his life behind walls of stone and steel. The Western District of Texas was especially affected by the activities of the Sinaloa cartel. You see, Juarez and El Paso are connected. Thousands of people every day cross through the various points of entries that connect the two cities and the two countries. Thousands used to cross illegally every day between the two countries. That's not happening so much anymore. Juarez affects El Paso. And so in 2008, when the Sinaloa cartel started fighting with the Juarez cartel to take control of that area, 10,000 people were killed on the Mexican side. U.S. citizens, at least one U.S. citizen, was kidnapped, tortured, and murdered. And stray gunfire being fired in Juarez came across to El Paso. So those things that were going on, that were the product of the Sinaloa cartel's desire to take over that area, directly affected people of the Western District and in El Paso in particular. So in April 2012, AUSAs in El Paso brought charges against El Mayo, Chapo, and 22 other members of the Sinaloa cartel. I want to take a moment to personally thank AUSA Tony Franco and AUSA Kyle Myers for their work on this case. One of those charges that he pled guilty to today was part of that indictment, part of that 2012 indictment. So this really has come full circle for us in the Western District of Texas as well. But really today's not about the Western District of Texas. It's not about the Eastern District of New York, the Southern District of Florida, or any other district. It's about the government of the people, by the people, and for the people delivering on a promise to eradicate Mexican drug cartels. That's what we're doing. And we're doing that so Americans can live freely, enjoy liberty, and pursue happiness. This is part of us delivering on that promise. And with that, I'll bring up Mr. Nocello once again.
Thank you. I want to thank everybody for coming. That concludes our press announcement. There will be no further proceedings and there are no questions, but I ask that everybody please remain in your seats as our speakers exit the room. Thank you.
Nothing on the cartels or the work that the DEA did. We have questions about that we'd like to talk about.
Thank you.
Wait, we can take you all have stayed here all afternoon. Would be glad to take a couple questions. Sure. Wait, let me get him in the back of the room first. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. So on that point, I know as you wrap up these cartel leaders,
I took like 4 questions.
you're focused on, as well presumably, the cash and assets that comes up with that. Here in New York City, the DEA for years has uncovered people buying luxury goods, shipping them to China, then the money comes back to Mexico. Where do those efforts stand today as far as following the money and really kind of grabbing more of the people that facilitate this?
Yeah, if you couldn't hear, you asked about following the money. Following the money is always part of any of these criminal cases. That's how we're able to track and find them. I mean, this guy Mayo was living like a king, and now he's living like a criminal for the rest of his life. He was living in a palace, and now he's going to be in a prison. So following the money is how we solve these cases. Terry, do you want to add a couple words to that with DEA?
So, thank you, Madam Attorney General. There is a large cash seizure associated with this forfeiture that we will get out here shortly. But more importantly, our work with the Mexican government is not done. Similar to what we did with RCQ that we brought to the United States, there are proceedings happening as we speak.
Would you do these things? Hang on. Just take a few questions. Sir, sitting right there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said the U.S. government should collaborate with Mexico to understand how the U.S. authorities bring in Mayo Zambada because for them it's not clear yet. What's your answer on that request?
Well, first we want to thank the Mexican authorities for all of their help in bringing all of these cartel leaders to justice. We're not going to comment on any of the specifics of any investigation, but we have brought, under Donald Trump's direction, we have brought more cartel leaders to justice than any other administration in this nation's history. Any other questions? Go ahead, Ellen.
Why take the death penalty off the table in this case?
So, Mexico, I've done this my entire career as a prosecutor. When dealing with Mexico, we cannot seek the death penalty. We've always known that, and that's an agreement that we've had with Mexico when we get them to our country. That includes many others. This guy's 78 years old, but he will live like he's on death row, I can tell you that. He will live in a prison cell the rest of his life. Yes, sir.
Use the air bridge to come cocaine and drug to the United States. What about Honduras?
Yeah.
Air bridge.
He asked about the air bridge. Air bridge is a term that is common in law enforcement for how drug traffickers move their drugs from multiple countries, Venezuela, Honduras, Guatemala, Mexico, to our country. It's called an air bridge. And they pay off government officials, they pay people off, they pay off law enforcement officers in their countries to ignore that and to let them fly undetected. We're looking at all that. We're looking at that in multiple countries. Thank you all for being here, and thank you. Great question.